and welcome, dear student. In this video we will be starting a new chapter, and that is my I keep my trust with Everest. Okay, this is the story of Bachendri Pal, the first woman to climb Mount Everest. So you all know that Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world, and fortunately it is located where it is very near to us. Okay, we people of Siliguri are very fortunate that during the month of November sometimes we see steep, okay, it's a peak. And even if we go to Darjeeling and all, we see we Mount Everest is sometimes visible, okay, though it is located in Nepal, but Nepal is closer to us. That is why we are fortunate that many of us already got the view of Mount Everest, okay. So here in this chapter we'll be learning or getting to know the story of the first woman who climbed Mount Everest. So as you all know, or if you don't know, you just see that Mount Everest is 8,848 meters above sea level. It is so high, okay. And due to tectonic movement after earthquake and all, it is assumed that might be it has the height has increased, okay. So now we will start the chapter. This is Bachendri Pal. The photograph, I mean the art is of Bachendri Pal, and this is Ang Dorji, his mate who went along with her. I got up at 4 a.m., melted snow and brewed tea. After a light breakfast, a few biscuits and a slab of chocolate, I left my tent at around 5:30 a.m. Dorji, my rope leader, was standing outside. No one else was about. So at what time did she get up? She got up at 4 a.m. Okay, then she melted snow. Why melted snow? Because it is not water is not available in mountains. It's so cold that water gets becomes snow or ice, okay. So if you want to drink something, you have to first melt it. So she melted and then she brewed her tea or coffee, generally whatever you want to drink, you have to first melt the snow. Then she had a light breakfast, and what consisted of a light breakfast? Some biscuits and some half a slab of chocolate. Then she left her tent at around 5:30. Then her rope leader was standing outside and there was nobody, okay. Hank Dorji was going to climb without oxygen, but because of this, his feet would get very cold. He thus wanted to avoid long exposure at heights and a night at summit camp. He had therefore to either get to the peak and back to the South Col the same day or abandon the attempt. See how strong Ang Dorji is, and just look at his strength and stamina. That in hilly areas, in higher altitude, the oxygen level is low, so you need oxygen cylinders, okay. And Mount Everest is not a joke, it is very high, okay. There you need oxygen, but this Dorji was going to climb without oxygen, just imagine. So but what happens if there is no oxygen? Then your body gets cold. So he wanted to avoid height and night exposure, okay. So what option he had? Either he have to get to the peak and back on the same day, or he has to cancel the attempt, okay, abandon the attempt. He was keen to start immediately and asked if I would like to go with him. Going to the top from the South Col and back in a day would be strenuous. So he wanted to start immediately, okay, and that is why he asked Bachendri Pal whether she is also interested. But Bachendri Pal thought that it will be very strength consuming and a tough task. I mean, climbing such a height and then getting back is obviously a tough task, okay. And what was the risk? There was a risk of Ang Dorji turning back if his feet got too cold. However, I had full confidence in Dorji as well as in my stamina and climbing capability. Besides, no one else was ready to move at that time. So she is saying that though there was risk, but also I had faith in Dorji as well as me. And there was no one who was going to accompany us at that time, at such an early time, okay. At 6:20, when Ang Dorji and I stepped out from the South Col, it was a perfect day. There was a gentle breeze, but the cold was intense. I was, however, warm in my well-insulated climbing gear. We climbed unroped. Dorji set a steady pace, but I had no difficulty keeping up with him. So what happened at 6:20? They stepped out, okay, and it was a good day. Fortunately, there was gentle breeze, okay. The breeze was gentle, but it was cold. Obviously, in hilly areas, the breeze are cold, okay. And she was warm in her climbing gear. Climbing gear means whatever clothes are, gear means the clothes that they are wearing, okay. And climbing means, for climbing mountain, whatever clothes and equipment are required to wear, she was wearing everything like cap, her jacket, her trousers, okay, those are specially made to withstand the cold of the mountains, okay. So she wore everything and she was warm. The steep frozen slopes were hard and brittle as a sheet of glass. We had to use the ice axe, and I had to kick really hard to get the front teeth of the crampons to bite into the frozen surface. So the slopes were hard. It is Mount Everest, so the slopes are very much hard because everything is covered with snow. Okay, and they use they when they climb now, they take one ice axe. So the axe is generally used in garden, but ice axe is the one that easily breaks the ice, okay. And the shoes which they wear, it has a kind of teeth, I mean metal teeth, okay, so that it gets stuck into the ice and they easily climb up, okay. So she was kicking really hard, she had to kick hard to um, um, get the front teeth of the crampon, okay, to bite this frozen surface. I took every step very deliberately on the dangerous stretches. The stretches were dangerous and she was consciously and carefully taking step by step, okay. In less than 2 hours, we reached the summit camp. There is a camp below Mount Everest, okay, where people rest. So they reached the camp, okay, and Dorji looked back and asked if I was tired. So on reaching and after reaching the camp, Dorji asked Bachendripal whether she was tired or not. I replied no, to his surprise and delight. And what was her reply? No, I am not tired, okay. And this was surprising for Dorji, as well as he was happy because now they can continue. He told me that the earlier summit party had taken 4 hours to reach the summit camp, and added that if we could keep our present pace, we would be on the summit by 1 p.m. So he was very happy, and he told Bachendri Pal that before you, earlier, the party which I had taken took 4 hours to reach here. We reached fast. So if we continue with this pace further, what will happen? We will reach the summit. I mean, they got up at 5:30, started at 6:20, and by 1 p.m. they will reach Mount Everest peak, okay. See, the calculate the time, okay. Dorji, my roommate, was following us and caught up with us when we rested below the south summit. After drinking some tea, we moved on. Hato had brought a nylon rope, so Ang Dorji and I roped up while Hato walked in the middle, holding the rope with one hand, more balanced than the security. So now they got the rope also, and they were walking in the middle. If you Google or if you look at the YouTube video, you will see how these trekkers, okay, they use rope to climb the mountain, and you will understand how they were what you will understand how they one by one they hold their hands, okay, they hold the rope. Arthur noticed that I had been climbing with oxygen at about 2.5 liters per minute against the normal 4 for these heights. After he increased the oxygen flow on my regulator, I found even the steeper stretches comparatively easy. So what did his partner notice? He noticed that Bachendri Pal was climbing. It was becoming difficult for Bachendri Pal to climb, and then he noticed the oxygen cylinder, and then he saw that the oxygen flow which was required at that height, Bachendri was not getting that oxygen. So he increased the flow, and after the increment in the flow of oxygen, what Bachendri found, that the toughest steeper stretches which was tough to cover, she was finding it easy. Beyond the south summit, the breeze increased. At the height of eddies of strong winds whipped up the powder snow, reducing visibility to nil. So after that, breeze increased, and you all know that when it's very cold, the visibility is very low. So the visibility was almost nil. There was no visibility. On many occasions, I had to get into a crouching position with my back to the onslaught of the icy wind, saturated with fine particles of bone dry powder snow. So there were many times when the breeze was so strong that she had to get down on a crouching position, okay, to protect herself from the powder dry snow, okay. See here, if in plains, okay, in summer when there's breeze, what happened? We find dust particles, right? So obviously there's no dust. So what she will find? She'll find the powder snow, okay. It was terrifying to stand erect on a knife edge ridge with a sheer drop on either side. I had to dig my ice axe deep and secure myself by attaching the waist strap to the ice axe head. Okay, so see, it was terrifying, it was very dangerous to stand erect, to stand straight on a knife edge. I mean, the edges are so small. Okay, it's knife edge means what? Look, just imagine the shape of the knife. Okay, so the edges were so steep and it was terrifying to stand there, so they had to be very very careful. And I had to dig my ice axe deep. So the ice axe she was carrying, she was digging it very deep and securing myself by attaching the waist strap. So they also carry a waist strap, so she was securing herself, she was protecting herself and making her safe by attaching herself with the waist strap on to the ice axe head. There was some tricky climbing between the south summit and what is popularly known as Hillary Step. So you all know that Edmund Hillary was the one who Edmund Hillary was also there. Okay, who climbed Mount Everest. So there is a place which is known as Hillary Step. So it was quite tricky. Dorji and Lato was already over it, but I was still negotiating its vertical face when Ang Dorji gesticulated towards the top. So what happened? His her two partners already covered that place, but she was looking at the face and thinking like how to cover this, how to get out of this. Okay, at that time, what Dorji did, means he made some gesture and showed toward gesture towards the top. I was thrilled. She was thrilled. Why? Now see, the finally she went to a place which she was finding it difficult. But when Dorji showed something towards the top, she was thrilled because she saw that Mount Everest is very near, and the goal is almost near. For what she had been practicing or taking trainings or the covered all the way. Okay, so her destination is near. With new vigor, now what happened? This gave her new energy. With new vigor, I was on the top of the step in seconds. So within seconds, she covered it because she was so energetic after she saw her destination by her own eyes. The sun had made the snow soft and climbing was easier here than it had been earlier. So see, the sun had also made the snow soft, which is very good. Okay, she was lucky that on that day it was sunny. We trudged in the heavy powder snow for some time. Then the gradient started easing off noticeably. A few steps later, I saw that after only a couple of meters, there was no upward climb. And the slope plunged steeply down. So we trudged in the heavy powder snow. So they walked in hilly area, in mountains. The snow are, I mean, 10 feet deep, 20 feet deep. So that is why this word is using the heavy powder snow. And the gradient, a place where the ground slopes, okay, is easing off noticeably. After a few steps, what she noticed, I saw that after only a couple of meters there was no upward climb. So finally they were about to reach the peak of the Mount Everest. My heart still stood still. It dawned on me that success was within reach, and then she realized she was still, I mean, no expression, no feeling. I mean, she had been thinking or looking for this opportunity or destination for her desire or dream, and finally she could see that it is only few steps far. Okay, at 1:07 p.m. on 23rd May 1984, I stood on top of the Everest, the first Indian woman to have done so. So this is the date when Bachendri Pal stood on the top of the Everest, and this is the day when the history was made because Bachendri Pal is the first Indian woman to reach there. There was hardly enough place for two to stand side by side on the top of Everest cone. So see, just imagine how steep the mountain is, because two-person also cannot stand there. Thousands of meters of near vertical drop on all sides made safety our foremost consideration, and we anchored ourselves securely by digging our ice axes into the snow. See, reaching Mount Everest is not done. You have to get back also, okay? So getting back is also very much important. That is why after reaching, okay, what they did is securely, they were safety was their foremost consideration, so they anchored themselves securely by digging ice axes into the snow. Again they got back in the same process. Okay, that done, I sank on my knees and putting my forehead on the snow, kissed Sagarmatha's crown. So after this, what happened? She knelt down and she kissed Sagarmatha's crown. Sagarmatha, Mount Everest is also known as Sagarmatha in Nepal. Okay, this was the moment of joy, and at that time she remembered her father and mother. As I rose, then she stood up. I folded my hands and bowed in respect to Dorji, her rope leader, who had encouraged and led me to my goal. So she thanked Dorji because he was the one who encouraged her and helped her to reach her destination, to help her to finish her goal. Okay. I also congratulated him. She also congratulated. Why? Because this was his second ascent. This he was Dorji was climbing without oxygen. Okay, he hugged me and whispered in my ear, "You climb well, very happy, Didi." So Dorji was also very happy because he also climbed without oxygen, and he again congratulated back to Bachendri Pal, saying that you climbed very well. So this chapter is finished, and the syllabus for the final exam is complete. You will learn these word meanings on your own. Okay.